Perhaps when we're doing our pre-show chat, Bloom, we should just have the show on, right?
Yeah, I think so. Although we might forget one time, like we
Right.
might, and then then it actually could get really interesting. But we also might be, blacklisted or something.
Um, all right. Good morning, everybody. Let's get this thing started now.
You got a team, here's a word of the wise. You want to dominate your league? Go to football, guys.
Football, I'm living in a fantasy. Football, got everybody mad at me. Football, cause every game I had to win. Football, I gotta be a champion. Football, I'm living in a fantasy.
You've got to be a champion, and if you're Matt Canada, you've got to be better at your job. I don't know how that's going to happen this week. Baltimore against the Steelers to kick off part 2 of the Week 5 preview here on the Audible. Cecil, Lammey, and Sigmund Bloom. Baltimore side first. We'll lament the Steelers side and talk about maybe Kenny Pickett. I don't know.
Right.
But Baltimore, we know who they go to. And now the running back situation might get a little more interesting as guys are getting healthier. Put a pin in it, Bloom. This week against the Steelers, Baltimore could be quite all right.
They could be. This is no fun. See, so remember the days whenever we would get to preview a Ravens-Steelers matchup and we would get fired up and say, it doesn't even matter who wins. It's just who has fewer players hurt at the end of the game. And these teams hate each other. And, but we love the Ravens. If we weren't Steelers fans, they're mirror images of each other. They're not mirror images of each other right now. They're not.
No.
They're not. But the Steelers defense usually gives Lamar Jackson problems. So you're going to play Lamar Jackson, but it might not be a ceiling game, at least as a passer, although those haven't been coming anyway. And when you have Rashad Bateman and Odell Beckham practicing, I think Bateman in full, now you have a more crowded passing game. The Steelers' pass defense has been pretty generous. I wouldn't say you're crazy if you want to play Zay Flowers, but we saw last week Mandrews atop the hill of pass catchers. So that is your dominant pass catcher in this passing game for fantasy, at least again. And then you do have Gus Edwards atop this depth chart, but Justice Hill's getting healthier. And enter stage left Keaton Mitchell, who's coming off of IR and I believe practicing in full, but don't quote me on that part. But he's going to, now I'm not saying rush out and pick up Keaton Mitchell, but Cease, I think between Keaton Mitchell and Jaleel McLaughlin, so we're seeing now more of these 165-pound, 175-pound receivers mattering in fantasy football, where in the past we would say that's just too small. Is it time for running backs of that lighter weight mattering in the NFL? Jaleel McLaughlin, the hottest waiver wire pickup of the week. Could Keaton Mitchell be the hottest waiver wire pickup in a week or two? Because certainly that could loosen things up and something for the Steelers to think about if he's active.
Yeah, and Mitchell is the perfect complement to Gus Edwards, right? You got thunder and lightning, true thunder and lightning, and then throw in Lamar Jackson. It's like, oh my God, it could be quite problematic. Well, it's a problem when Matt Canada is your OC. It's a Steelers show right now, Bloom. Oh my God. Oh my God. And Kenny Pickett might play because of course he's going to. Just makes my heart sad.
It does. Everyone who knows who Matt Canada is now, though, sees. You know what's funny is because of the nature of sports talk, sometimes we pile on coaches or we pile on quarterbacks, and it's not really all their fault, right? It's not as bad as we want to make it seem for our hot takes. It is that bad. Like people that when they watch football see through the players and the formations and the outcomes of the plays to really understand what the puppet masters, what the chess players are doing. They watch what the Steelers are doing and say, yeah, it's that bad. Matt Canada's that bad. Calling plays in situations where it's impossible for them to work. Asking things, Pat Fryermuth to come all the way across formation to block a defensive end and just different things. Like, why would you ever even think that would work? And they don't have that great of personnel on the offensive line anyway, whether they're at least with James Daniels banged up, Dan Moore banged up. Kenny Pickett might play with a knee brace. Okay. I don't even know if that matters. I would say it matters for George Pickens, but if he's wearing a knee brace, can he really drive the ball downfield? Could he really drive the ball downfield
How
anyway?
does that help a bone bruise, by the way? If it is a bone bruise, when I read that, and I wrote about it in the Football Guys Newswire yesterday, but I was like, he's going to wear a knee brace. It's a bone bruise, or is it not?
I don't know. It's bad. I mean, maybe this is just how much they don't want to put Mitchell Trubisky out there. By the way, Jadeveon Clowney has had a big time resurgence. We might be seeing him introduce himself to Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trubisky. You have a running back split in a bad offense. That's bad. I know there are some peripherals that say Najee Harris is running the ball well, but that doesn't matter when you're in a bad offense. It doesn't give you an opportunity. Maybe we'll see some Darnell Washington, the broadsword. That's the best I could do to cheer myself up. I like Darnell Washington.
Yeah, they like him too. And now you got me thinking about Game of Thrones. Anyway, let's think about Eagles and Rams in that game. This game makes me happier, Bloom, because it actually features good offenses and maybe some more from Philadelphia you haven't seen yet. Again, you're going to start your Eagles with confidence because the Rams can fight back. And that's what makes this a fun matchup to talk about.
It is fun. It's nice, by the way, to see you in all of your 128-bit. What would it be? I don't even know. But you're in your glory.
It should be 1080p, but
1080p.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Although 8-bit Cecil, we love you just the same. Jalen Hurts,
and that's not 1080p, Joe. So sorry, Joe, in case there's any sort of misunderstanding.
Yeah, Zach Law. We love you, Zach. He's headed to Italy. I was asking about his trip to Italy, and I told him on the Rialto in Venice, you can buy these ties, at least 20 some years ago when I went, and you open up the tie, there's like a naked lady inside, and he corrected it and said I had to say sorry, Joe. So sorry, Joe. Anyway, never enough sorry Joes. Jalen Hurts not saying sorry to anybody for his fantasy output and now his passing output with AJ Brown really coming on, and Devontae Smith's big game is going to come eventually. DeAndre Swift is clearly the starting running back, the lead running back. You're not asking questions about whether he should be in the lineup. You might be asking questions about Dallas Goedert, and this one's interesting. Sees Nick Sirianni, and maybe we need to put Nick Sirianni on that list of truth tellers, or if there are truth tellers, he is one of them. Really interesting to hear what he had to say about Dallas Goedert this week. He said he's still part of the plan. Well, geez, I didn't think he wasn't part of the plan. But he also said he'll get going. We have to do our job as coaches to get him going. So at the very least, that tells me that, and he's saying he's still an important part of our offense, blocking for the intention he draws. I think that's positive. I overall interpret that as positive and a reason to think better things are going to come, or the things we are expecting are going to come for Dallas Goedert. I'm curious.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I teased to you, like, maybe some other things that could be coming from Philadelphia. They might actually use their tight end again.
Yeah.
Like he's not staying down all year. That's not going to happen. Not to this team, not to this well-coached team. So put a pin in it and then wait. On the Rams side, is Cup back this week? I'm trying to
in full,
use my brain. Like
probably.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's still Puka Nacua time. Okay. Yes. There can always be room for more. And Cup will obviously change the target structure, but that does more. Is Van Jefferson doing anything?
Right.
I still want to make fun of one of my buddies who during the joint practices is like, Van Jefferson's good. I was like, Van Jefferson sucks. Anyway, like it's going to change your target structure, but you're still going to use Puka.
Yeah.
Don't go away from Puka. Don't go away from Kyron in a tougher matchup, though, because the Eagles front 7, the Eagles front 11, don't they have a front 11? Like,
right.
It seems like it when you go up against Philadelphia. We'll see how the Rams fight back.
Yeah, this offense. Well, this is a game where the Rams could say, we didn't go anywhere. Rebuilding? What rebuilding? We still have a veteran quarterback. We still have a good offense. And I think that you add Cooper Kupp to this offense. Certainly, Matthew Stafford now becomes a fantasy consideration. If Kupp is in, you have to play him. And you have to play Puka Nacua. And you have to play Kyron Williams. But he missed practice on Wednesday. Now, first, it was just kind of a maintenance or rest thing. Then it was officially listed as a hip. Kyron Williams says he's going to play. He's going to play. But as we've been talking about, Cease, this is a running back, 5'9", 194 at the combine. And you're working him as much as any running back in the NFL is getting worked. So Ronnie Rivers is a name to remember here. And maybe Tyler Higbee. You think about defenses having to worry about Kupp and Nacua. and you think about the part of the field they occupy, it doesn't make sense to send Tyler Higbee down the seam behind them, right? Let them draw the pass defense up. Higbee gets behind a safety, maybe some fun stuff here. Atwell, like you said about Van Jefferson, really the question is Atwell or Van Jefferson, who's going to lose snaps here, 2 of their second round picks. And again, I think this is a game, Cease, where we know the Rams measure up against the 49ers. They lost to the 49ers earlier this year. The 49ers own them. The Eagles are the other power team, I guess Dallas. So if they have a good showing, they just went on the road and beat an Indianapolis team that is not necessarily going to be an easy out this year. So I think the Rams can really show, hey, we're still in the picture. We're not in teardown mode. We're not in rebuilding mode. We still have a very strong foundation of winning here, and we still have a good veteran quarterback.
I will quote some sort of movie that I can't even remember what it is. When I say there's a guy behind the guy. Ronnie Rivers, fine. Okay, productive, doing his thing.
Right.
Doing his thing. Give me Zach Evans.
Yeah. See, that's one of those
Waldman
ones that
favorite. Give me Zach Evans.
I give me Zach Evans too, but you really have to wonder, why is he not getting any snaps? And why is he not even getting on the field? He's not even active on game days. So I agree with you. But you look at someone like Jaleel McLaughlin, who got on the field right away. You look at some of the other rookie running backs that are contributing, and you wonder. So I would love to hear if anybody get back to us, if there's any kind of story or whispers or buzz out there, why Zach Evans is not getting a chance to play for this team.
There were whispers in training camp.
Well, yeah.
That's later. We'll get to it later. Anyway, Cincinnati and Arizona, they're up next, and this game kind of makes me sad. Actually, the Arizona side makes me happier than the Cincinnati side because, okay, T. Higgins isn't going to play, but Joe Burrow's going to play, but he shouldn't be playing because he's not himself. And it's just like, the Bengals were so hot. And a banged up Burrow, like he's trying, man. We give him a ton of heart with that kid, but it's just not working.
No, and he was off the practice report, and it's getting better. I believe it when I see it. And Arizona's defense, it's better than we thought. So no, I'm not playing Burrow. Yes, I'm playing Chase. No, I'm not playing Tyler Boyd, although he'll get some more run this week with T. Higgins and the fractured rib. I don't think he's going to play. And I guess that's it, really. Again, this is one of those ones that's showing us you can't trust the injury report. You can't trust what Burrow's saying. You can't trust what the team is saying. Somebody broke it down really well where they said he's an immobile one-read quarterback at this point. It's like Peyton Manning, the corpse of Peyton Manning that we saw win a Super Bowl, where like you can load him up to do like one smart thing, and he's going to be smart with the ball, but he's very limited, and the defenses know it. And that gets a defense fired up. And this is a fired up Arizona team. And yet another team, Cease, where we're saying we went into the season writing them off and saying this is a rebuilding year. Arizona's going to have the first 2 picks in the draft. Not so fast. And this is an Arizona team that's going to get back Kyler Murray. They have a good thing going with Jonathan Gannon. And wouldn't it be great for them at home to beat a team, at least with the reputation, the name brand value? Yeah, the Bengals have name brand value. That's what Joe Burrow does for a team.
Yeah. Put him on the commercials. Anyway, just get him healthy. Put him on the hospital bed or put him on the sidelines, please.
Bed goes up, bed goes down.
I just want to see Joe Burrow, the real Joe Burrow, not the banged up Joe Burrow.
It's sad. Yeah,
it is. Arizona's side, like, all right, Josh Dobbs playing some good football. Arizona, kind of, they don't miss Vance Joseph at all. I'll say that. But from a fantasy lens, against the Bengals, who aren't going to put up the points that they could, what can Arizona do, and who can Arizona do it with this week, Bloom?
Yeah, we thought this was a Bengals defense that could maybe carry the team while Joe Burrow's hurt, when we saw them get that win on Monday night against the Rams. But then last week, it did not go so well. And Arizona's offense, like the defense, exceeding expectations. Dobbs exceeding expectations. And Dobbs has already seen, Dallas and San Francisco, and passed those tests. Where's the counter out how much money he's made for himself this year? He's probably made 8 figures for himself this year. I don't think that's overestimating it. He's probably made 10 or 20 million in his future earnings based on how he's performing. And I think that we have to assume he'll be successful enough for James Conner, Marquise Brown, and Zach Ertz to all be solid plays this week. And maybe Michael Wilson. Maybe Michael Wilson joins that party. And how could we have ever imagined that against a good pass defense like the Bengals, we're saying you might be able to play 3 pass catchers from this Cardinals offense? That's a testament to what Dobbs is doing, testament to what Drew Petzing, let's make sure people know that name, the offensive coordinator, first-time offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, disciple from Cleveland. So some good stuff happening out in the desert.
It all goes back to Mike Shanahan.
Yeah,
Stefanski's a Mike Shanahan guy.
It really all goes back to Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
Right. Which goes back to Cincinnati also.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
So Chris Wessling, rest in peace, man.
Oh, jeez.
He wrote a really great
One of the
story.
best, dude.
Who was the quarterback, Greg? What was his last name? The legendary quarterback for the Bengals who got hurt right at the beginning of his career. That was the beginning of the West Coast offense. It was not actually on the West Coast. It was on the coast of the Ohio River.
Yeah.
Greg Cook. Also rest in peace, Greg Cook.
Okay. Nice. Fantastic. Not fantastic. And I've got a hot take on Jaleel McLaughlin. That's coming up in just a little bit. But it's Jets and it's Broncos. And, well, it's the Broncos defense. And it's Breece Hall without any restrictions. And no snap counts. Okay, okay, fine. We get it, buddy. They could, if they wanted to, run all day on Denver. All day. Now, no Randy Gregory. Has he been traded yet?
Oh, right. We're releasing him in case anybody wants to trade for him. We're releasing him.
Right. That's what they did with Albert O. Hey, we're cutting him. Oh, you want to trade? Philadelphia, of course, Howie Roseman. Howie's like, trade, trade. Mine.
Right. You gonna eat that? Oh, you're not gonna finish that? Okay.
And for the special bingo game out there for one of our dear friends, I love Howie Roseman. Anyway, Jets side of things. Gonna run it all day. Use Garrett Wilson. Pat Surtain's not playing well. Best corner in the yeah, sure. Play like it. We can say that. Surtain's not playing well. Secondary's got bad issues. Maybe Justin Simmons will be back this week. He should be, but I thought that last week, Bloom. Anyway, the Jets offense and Zach Wilson wanting to make up for that mistake. I lost the game. It's my fault, bro. That's what he said. And the team kind of rallying around Zach Wilson. What?
Yeah.
Well, a win. And Nathaniel Hackett, remember, Sean Payton, it is Broncos show. When Sean Payton breaks the coach's code, and he's like, it's the worst coaching job
that's
in
right.
the history of ever.
Bulletin board material.
Nathaniel Hackett, he's like, I don't think he's sleeping. He's drinking Gamer Fuel, unpaid endorsement. Drink Gamer Fuel. And like, he's crafting something. He's coming up with something. He's thinking about shaving that stupid looking goatee. Like, Nathaniel Hackett is ready to put together the world's greatest game plan. Well, for him. So it actually might work against Vance Joseph, who's just like,
how is he not fired? How does he still have a job?
I don't know.
I mean, you're asking for it, right? You're asking for it. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a team we saw last week against the Broncos. Justin Fields and the Bears offense. All problems. You face the Broncos, everything's good. They still blew the game at the end. But still, this was not just a functional offense, but a pretty good offense against the Broncos. And magical thinking, confidence changes destinies. What a great opponent for Zach Wilson to have, just as the team and the fan base is starting to get a little confidence in him. Now that can grow. Now, even in 2 quarterback superflex leagues, you're looking at Zach Wilson as a potential play this week. You're definitely looking at Breece Hall. Look, I would probably find a way to put Breece Hall in your lineup. Just find a way. They're saying the restrictions are off. Like you said, Cease, it's the Dallas. It's the Denver defense. Do you remember how poor their tackling was against Miami? You mentioned Pat Surtain. I mean, how's anybody going to ball out on this team right now? How's anybody going to play their best football in this environment, in this Broncos team? I don't think so. Garrett Wilson, like you said, Cease, not so imposing of a matchup. Maybe even Alan Lazard. He told us way back after week 1, the secondary receivers against the Broncos. Yeah, they can get it done. So Alan Lazard is a what the heck flex this week. Tyler Conklin. Did you see Cole Kmet scored 2 touchdowns last week. Tyler Conklin. The Jets had a moral victory against the Chiefs on Monday night. They're looking to get an actual victory in this one. And the Broncos, I think, don't really have an answer.
I can't tell you who the starting running back's going to be, but I can tell you this. If it was up to me, it would include a lot of Samaje Perine. Now, it's not going to work, okay? The Jets' defense is the best the Broncos might face all year long. And Jaleel McLaughlin, who you're so happy to start him. I've been talking about him since May. Like, yes, Matt Waldman's been talking about him since January. Okay, y'all got him. But he's more of a deep flex. Dare I even say a what the heck flex this week because of the matchup. Okay? This Jets team is going to be motivated offensively. Nathaniel Hackett, spinning his brain around. Defensively, their front four is tough. Their front seven, their linebackers are tough. Their secondary is tough. Now, McLaughlin can take the smallest crease and it can be 80 yards and a touchdown. And I hope I'm totally wrong. And he's a running back one and it's celebration time and Twitter's blowing up, like all these sorts of things. I hope all of that is true. But I look at this game and I write a game plan for the Broncos every day. Every day. Well, I said
every day.
So I got to play it, right? In my little rant here. If I say it, it is sweet. Daiquiri Man. We always appreciate Daiquiri Man's support. But if I said it, and then it's got to go up there on the screen. But every week I write a game plan for this team. My game plan for the Broncos. Again, I can't tell you what I saw at practice yesterday. My game plan would include lots of Samaje Perine, and it won't work. Okay? So if Sean Payton figures out that won't work, and he goes to the speed, Texas routes would work, screen passes would work, draw plays would work, football 101. I'm not breaking any code here. I'm not breaking the code. Sean Payton broke the code, and he better have something cooked up because Hackett's going to come in here, and Hackett will do what he can. I think Hackett's funny, and I get in so much trouble anytime I talk about Nathaniel Hackett on the air, so I'll refrain myself. Whatever.
Don't make me dump you, Cease. Don't make me hit the dump button.
Hit the dump button. He's talking about.
He's already talking about Nathaniel Hackett. Red alert! Red alert!
Red alert! Red alert! He's talking about Hackett's fat ass again. No, dump it anyway.
Sorry, Joe.
Sean Payton had better be ready. And if he figures it out, and he hasn't really shown this ability, he's such a great coach. He hasn't shown this ability to figure stuff out faster.
Right.
It's not the Samaje Perine plan is not going to work. Hey guys, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. That's not going to work. If he does that in game, then it'll be McLaughlin's day. But that's still like running back 2 flex levels. So I'm the biggest McLaughlin fan in the world, and I'm saying what the heck flex or deep flex, or if things go well, low end RB2 flex. Do you get my point? I can't tell you who I saw first at practice, but my plan would include a lot of Samaje Perine, and it won't work. Then that leads to Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy looks a little healthier. These are all flex plays. Marvin Mims, what the heck flex?
Right.
Against the Jets, that's the best you can hope for.
Yeah. Well, because like you said, Cease, I think that the bottom line here is against this Jets defense that frustrated Patrick Mahomes. The Jets made the Chiefs in a tie game. That game was tied 20-20. And the Chiefs turned to Isaiah Pacheco. They said, Isaiah, you're going to carry us over the goal line for victory in this one, not Patrick Mahomes. That tells you what you need to know about this Jets defense. So it's going to be a miserable afternoon for the Jets defense. I'm sorry, for the Broncos offense against the Jets defense. So I think you're right, Cease. If there's anyone that stands out among the receivers, I would say Jerry Jeudy, just because you're not going to target Courtland Sutton against Sauce Gardner. And you gave folks a good skeleton key about Mims. Expect Mims to show us what he can do for fantasy when things are going well for this offense. That is not happening. Not on this day. McLaughlin, like you said, Cease, I mean, there is a way that you use McLaughlin to stretch the defense horizontally. There's a way that you use McLaughlin to take advantage of an over-aggressive defense. You anticipate that. But also, like you said, do we really think Sean Payton can do that? Do we remember Sean Payton from his Saints days as, wow, he crafted the perfect game plan? No, this is kind of a Brady Belichick situation, maybe, when we look back on it. a Gase Peyton Manning situation potentially. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
well, and what it is it's Bill Parcells.
Sure.
And that stuff will work when you need a culture shift and when you have the right combination. Obviously, I'm never going to disrespect Bill Parcells and everything that he did, historic. But Sean Payton comes in, I'm going to run it my way and kick some ass and take some names. Well, when that well runs dry, and it can run drier quicker in today's game, what do you have?
What do you got? Yeah, what do you got?
Smartest guy in the room, just ask him.
Right. What do you got tactically? What do you have? That also involves trusting your players. It also involves being willing to do things with your players that isn't what you practice a billion million times. That's what you think might work this time. And that's what I think what we're learning about Sean Payton. They won last week, but when you're down 28-7 to this Bears team, nothing to be proud of. Nothing to be proud of, Russ. And Cease, I think that we'll be getting together about an hour after this game, recap time, probably about 7:15, 7:30 Central, 8:15 Eastern. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, have a lot to talk about. Powdering my balls. Sorry, Joe. So, hey,
Right,
sometimes the ad roll.
Is there an ad for that?
Just, it might have been,
Gold Bond.
Gold Bond, whatever.
Medicated.
I can't even. Manscaped. Does Manscaped have a powder? They've got a spray. It's very nice.
They should do like a tie-in.
Could you stop talking about powdering your balls, buddy? It came up on the screen, Joe. I'm like, Anchorman. I'm gonna read it
out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just started. Hey, we'll have to talk to YouTube overlords. YouTube overlords, please stop running filthy pre-rolls on our show. Anyway, no, please continue doing that so we get paid something. Anyway. Check out footballguys.com. Check out our free daily newsletter, hot takes, or just strong takes, correct takes, the right takes, news and information. Read it, check it out. It's free. Free daily newsletter available at footballguys.com. And the takes are written by myself and Sigmund Bloom and Joe Bryant. We are the hell of a trio. That is correct. Sorry, Joe. Again, check out footballguys.com if you want to support the show. I want to support the Kansas City Chiefs, kicking ass and taking names, because that's kind of what they do. And, well, it's in Minnesota. It doesn't matter where. They just show up to your town. They're going to beat your team. Although, and here's the thing, it's funny. Broncos fans are funny, Bloom, because after the Jets-Chiefs game, it's like, the Jets showed the Chiefs are beatable. Yeah, if you're the Jets, you're on that defense. If you're Minnesota, you're just like, I don't know what we're going to do. What can we do against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah. Oh, boy. Brian Flores' defense, at least so far, not quite working out, not transformative. And it should be a bounce back week for Mahomes. You love IJ Pacheco. You're not asking whether to start him. He is part of the identity of this team. How wonderful is that? And then you have the wide receivers. And Rashee Rice, I guess, if you want to play somebody. I just think that you have a problem here with the roles where Justin Watson and Marquez Valdes-Scantling are getting the downfield targets, but not enough targets to consider playing them. And then when you have the shorter targets split between Rice and Moore and Kadarius Toney, who's healthier now, and let's throw Noah Gray in there. He had one of the best plays of the week last week. He's not a wide receiver, but it just fans out this target tree even more. So, yeah, I probably am not playing a Kansas City wide receiver. But I guess if you have to, Minnesota is an opponent that you like doing that against.
Yeah, you like doing that as well. Kluge's been over. You've been sleeping, man. You're sleeping in. he's late today. We started, but I've got the timestamp already up. So as we do the show, Sig will respond to your chat questions. Not all of them, but as we do the show, I also throw in the timestamps, or else I'll forget, Bloom.
Yeah,
I'll forget, and then when I go to post the show, because these are also audio versions. The audio versions, you get some lanyap, so we appreciate that. But yeah, so I always throw in the timestamps as we're doing the show. Let's continue to do the show because we got to talk about Minnesota. Notice how I say that, Bloom. We got to talk about Minnesota against Kansas City. Kirk Cousins going to put up a fight. We know who he's going to do it with. So just go do it. Go lose, Kirk Cousins. Kind of what you do. See Minnesota fans be upset.
Yeah, and I'll start here because we're leading up towards the end of this month and the trade deadline. And the question is, Kirk Cousins, will he be on his way somewhere else? And a humiliating loss at home might help accelerate that. But the pass volume will be back for fantasy, so you're not worried about playing Cousins. It is a Kansas City defense until last week. Like, this is a good defense. Maybe they still are a good defense, and Zach Wilson is actually getting better. So we'll see. We'll watch this game going on while the Denver Jets game is going on and compare notes here. But TJ Hawkinson is going to be a safe play. Jordan Addison is 4 teams are on bye. You probably are playing Jordan Addison in a 3 wide receiver flex PPR type league. Alexander Madison's riskier this week because the game script could marginalize him. But again, we're in the bye week gauntlet. You probably have to play him. And we'll see, because this is a team. I think we look at this team kind of like the Giants in so much as those 2 teams played in the playoffs last year. And we thought, oh, okay, new head coaches, new programs, it's going pretty well. It's actually ahead of the timeline. And now it seems like this year they've gone backwards on the timeline so that we're behind where we were last year in the Kevin O'Connell era. And I think this is a good game to probably illustrate that, but maybe surprise us.
And Cowboys fans, are you ready for your wake-up call?
Yeah.
You can have fun beating up on some NFC East opponents, but when you go play the San Francisco 49ers, you have to take your game to a different level, a level that I'm not sure they're capable of, Bloom. So let's talk about CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard and blah, blah, blah. And which tight end is it? Who's making? Is it It's Ferguson? Is it Hendershot?
It is Ferguson.
Schoonmaker? It's Ferguson. Yeah. Okay.
It is Ferguson.
Okay, so it's not Hendershot and it's not Schoonmaker, the guys who are the exact same player, but it is Jake Ferguson. Anyway, Cowboys 49ers is up next, and oh my goodness, Dallas. What have you got this week?
Yeah, Cecil, I like the way you frame this. I do want to say again, because I'm old, there was a time that this was the matchup in the NFL. This was the matchup. Dallas and San Francisco. It was the game everybody looked forward to. You circled it on the calendar. And this game is a circle it on the calendar kind of game. But partially because, like you said, Cecil, let's think about it like you have Mike McCarthy and Kyle Shanahan in a battle of wits. What do they say about going to a battle of wits unarmed, right? We may see that with Mike McCarthy and how he deploys his very talented roster against a very talented San Francisco roster. Dak Prescott, it's a tough week. Justin Herbert's on bye. Geno Smith's on bye. Deshaun Watson's on bye. You're probably playing Dak unless he was your number 2 quarterback. If you draft him as your number 1, you're probably playing him, but you're not expecting a lot. CeeDee Lamb, we've seen him contain the last 2 weeks, which makes it so that you're considering Michael Gallup. You're considering Jake Ferguson. However, against a defense that limits things, I don't know. Tony Pollard, we're waiting for touchdowns or receptions. Haven't quite been coming the last few weeks. Defense has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but still, we want to watch for that. Obviously, you're playing him. Maybe Deuce Vaughn. Rico Dowdle's banged up. Missed a practice to start the week. And again, this is like the Sean Payton conversation. You're asking Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer to anticipate. You're asking them to simulate, okay, San Francisco is going to have a pretty good game plan to shut down what you do well, what you like to do. What's something that maybe they wouldn't be prepared for? Maybe some Deuce Vaughn. Maybe that's the X factor. Maybe that's, again, stretching a defense, stretching an aggressive defense horizontally, making guys tackle in space and doing some things. Maybe we'll watch Deuce Vaughn on Sunday night. But I think that even as scary as that Dallas defense is, now Kyle Shanahan, he is going to anticipate. Brock Purdy, who is playing, was he 20 for 21 last week? 20 for 21? That's, again, Alabama against Colorado School of Mines. That's not an NFL stat line. It was last week.
That is correct. And this week, again, Mike McCarthy, Sean Payton. Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy. It should be more of Deuce Vaughn. That would make some sense. Make him your Christian McCaffrey this week. It's Mike McCarthy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bruh. 49ers side, much more excited to talk about, especially with Brock Purdy being damn near perfect. Yeah. You're perfect, Brock. Still amazing that he thought he wasn't ever going to play. at the Shrine Bowl when I talked to Brock Purdy, and thank God for Eric Galco setting up that game, getting so much talent. Zay Flowers just amazing. Shout out. There's a Shrine Bowl bong rip for our friend Jason, the pot
water pipe. Sorry, Joe.
Water pipe. And sorry, Joe. We still have to do that? Not in Colorado, baby.
No.
Anyway, your show goes out more than just in Colorado, buddy. Let's talk about the 49ers, man.
Over the whole tri-state area. Brock Purdy to Brandon Ayuk. Remember, Trevon Diggs out for the year. Brock Purdy to George Kittle didn't do as much last week. But I do think there's something to exploit in the middle of the field against this Cowboys defense. Deebo Samuel, not 100%. So we saw him get a few carries last week, not much presence in the passing game. And I think that's probably what we should expect. Maybe that's not going to be what happens. And maybe you don't have the luxury of starting somebody over him again with 4 teams on bye, but it's something you would consider. And then there's Christian McCaffrey. Looks like Elijah Mitchell's not healthy yet. Jordan Mason would be the backup here. But Brock Purdy, I think this is a chance for him to get some national recognition against a defense, again, that seems scary, but Kyle, he'll flip you. And Michael Parsons, et cetera, coming at you. Well, you might be turning around looking at the play happening behind you because you can't get to Brock Purdy.
You can't get it done. Speaking of can't get it done, Monday Night Football. Here's the Green Bay Packers. Now where's Jason, our pot stoner degenerate? Now we're talking about the Raiders, his favorite team. I love Jason, except for that he's a Raiders fan. That always trips me up. But Packers and Raiders for Monday Night Football and Sigmund. We see a little more sharpness. You know what I mean? Not from Romeo Dobbs, because Romeo has all of our hearts in the fantasy world. But, Aaron Jones, we can see more. Jordan Love can be a little more crisp. A little more Luke Musgrave is always a good idea. And against the Raiders, well, a lot of these good ideas could work because it's the Raiders, Bloom, on Monday night.
It is. And we're going to see Jordan Love. Now he's got all of his aces. See what I did there? He's got the full deck to play with in Las Vegas. You don't want to have, the aces are up his sleeve. And we've seen Jordan Love exceed expectations. And no matter what your expectations were, chances are he's exceeded them, although at times he has looked like a quarterback that maybe you wondered, okay, is this why it took so long? Is this why we didn't hear a lot of buzz about him? But we were seeing him make plays. And now with more weapons, with more dimensions to this offense, Tom Kesnick was on, used to cover the Packers before we even doing the Audible. And he said, it's the Aaron Jones offense. So remember that when you're setting your lineup. Remember that maybe if you get in a buy low offer for Aaron Jones. I think Christian Watson's your upside play, and Romeo Dobbs is your floor play in this passing game. Luke Musgrave may or may not play with that concussion, which that may help things a little bit if you're deciding whether to play a Packers receiver, because it would narrow the target tree a little bit. However, it is a Monday night game, so I don't know if we're going to know if Luke Musgrave is playing as a few extra days to recover from his concussion. And how did Las Vegas get a home? I guess it's all part of the deal, right? With the new stadium and stuff, they're going to get a home Monday night game because Dallas, San Francisco, Green Bay, and Las Vegas.
Yay! Which deal are you talking about, Bloom?
Don't you let
the
that
deal with the league or the
down.
deal with the devil?
Yeah.
Devil, get out. Las Vegas Raiders. That's what Raiders fans are saying. Please, our team's possessed. Although I do love Aiden O'Connell. I love the kid. And for a rookie, there were struggles last week, but at least that was good to see. Who needs to see Brian Hoyer again? Seriously.
Right. Good job, Raiders.
Yeah. So let the kid, if it's probably going to be Jimmy. Well, wait for Saturday's injury report, whatever. I'm not really relying on the Raiders anyway, although I did get a Jacoby Myers question last night. But anyway, Let's talk about the Raiders. And I'm glad O'Connell played. I liked what I saw from the kid. Matches again, Shrine Bowl matches what I saw there. Kids progressing, and there's a future there. There's not a future if you continue to trot out Jimmy Garoppolo. And guess what they're going to do?
Yeah, this is where we're at. See, Al Davis is not the devil, but I heard that he is a regular at the Devil's poker game. So taking down those big jackpots. In possessions, well, this team is going to need to be possessed to hang with the Packers because this is they're not playing the Denver Broncos. You're not playing the Chargers, a team that finds a way to lose and somehow find a way to win. But you do know that Josh Jacobs is back. So he's back in your lineup. You never really took him out of your lineup because running back is a brutal position. But now you see that he can produce. If Garoppolo's back out there, same as Aiden O'Connell, you're going to see him be a primary target. Devontae Adams, if he's active, you're going to play him. He did have that shoulder injury. It looked like he was going to miss the rest of the game. He came back out there. Just watch the practice reports, because sometimes players can play through injuries and then miss the following week. Maybe it makes it a Jacoby Nyers night. Makes it a night probably to find something else to do on a Monday night, because, well, unless you're a Raiders fan. Where's our friend Pot Stoner Degenerate Jason?
Yeah. Up
Somewhere
in
in
Greeley.
Greeley.
That's where he's
Yeah.
at. Private Pile wants to know why I can't say what I was at practice, because and when it's in the media policy, when you have a key to the building, you have to tell everyone you have a key to the building. I will get fired if I say what they did at practice. Sean Payton has a very big brother media policy. Why can't I say what I saw at practice? Because Sean Payton will get me fired.
You should just even stop talking about the policy. You know, don't even tell them there's a policy, because he might not like to hear that you're talking about that. Cease.
Would you like some tea, Bloom?
Tea, green tea.
I would guess that there's people who work for the team that absolutely hate life because of Sean Payton. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just a total guess. Anyway, Sean Payton, you don't have to be that way, dude. Like, you don't. He is, because he's the smartest guy in the room. Just ask him. But, like, no, Brian's like, no, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I am the captain now.
Tea.
Yeah.
A good tea.
Anyway, what the heck flex? What the heck? What are we doing? Talking about what the heck flex. That's what we're doing, because you look over your lineup and you need some of that punch. And you're just like, I don't know. You got teams on bye. You got Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, Buccaneers. You had some, it was hot. Like, you were rolling. And now you got bye weeks to contend with. So you're like, okay, can I please keep rolling? Is that a possibility?
Mm-hmm.
Even if Jonathan Taylor should return for the Colts, Zach Moss is a what the heck flex for me. So there you go. Check that one out. We're always talking about Elijah Mitchell being a what the heck flex, so he's there. I told you that. Well, that's where Julian McLaughlin pretty much is this week, maybe a little bit higher, whatever is whatever. So we'll continue to watch that situation. What the heck flex wide receivers as we go through the lists. That includes Marvin Mims. It is a Broncos show. That includes Drake London. Because, well, Atlanta's got to figure some out. Which KC receiver do you want as a what the heck flex? That's truly a throw your hands up. Like, throw your hands up for Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney and anyone not named Travis Kelce. Anyway, you look over your lineup, Bloom. You need some punch. And I think Allen Lazard's more than a what the heck flex. Anyway. Who are some of your week 5? What the heck flexes?
Cease, if this goes like last year, the Broncos are going to go like 2-15. And then in March, you're going to hear these reports. We're hearing that people were unhappy in the building, that Sean Payton created an environment that wasn't conducive to team building and helped accelerate the decline of the team. Some players that might help you decelerate the decline of your team. Like Cecil said, what the heck flex sees when there's 16 games? What the heck flex is like, well, we might give this guy a chance, you know? What the heck flex in weeks with bye weeks, like, well, you probably have to play one of these guys if you have to pick someone off of your bench or the waiver wire. And again, I think that McLaughlin, Breece Hall, I'm just including in case you're wondering whether to play him. Roschon Johnson's interesting to me on a Thursday night against Washington, simply because if Washington jumps ahead, I wonder if the Roschon Johnson offense will be on the field more than the Khalil Herbert offense, because Johnson has more passing down chops. Chuba Hubbard with Miles Sanders, it's that bad, right? Miles Sanders isn't 100%, so play the other running back. Ronnie Rivers, we talked about. Zach Moss works also. You aren't going to throw Jonathan Taylor into the deep end. It is the Tennessee run defense. Wide receiver Allen Lazard, Nick Westbrook-Akina, doesn't look like Traylon Burks going to be ready. Jerry Jeudy if you have to play a Denver receiver. Roshe Rice if you have to play a Kansas City receiver. Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, get those guys in your lineup against Chicago. Wan'Dale Robinson, I wouldn't be surprised to see him catch 9, 10, 11 passes because, well, the Giants are going to get blown out of the building against them Dolphins.
Against them Dolphins. And for the start of the show, Bloom, you were talking about what? Wrestling? You were talking about because here's the
Battle Royale. Muscle Men.
I'll use the term, Bloom. Do you know what's so cute about Sigmund Bloom? Everybody out there that's watching, Bloom, I'm going to tell tales on you. We get on board and you're like, what does pubic PUBG? And I was like, it's PUBG. And he's like, what does that stand for? And I was like, it's Player Unknown Battlegrounds. I play PUBG every day. And I literally do, as someone who's an overthinker, because my brain doesn't shut off. And that's actually a problem. Like it is. When I get to shut my brain off is when I sit in front. And that's why God bless everyone that's friend requested me on Xbox. But I also am ninja all the time. You can't see that I'm on because I don't want any fantasy questions or whatever, or any Broncos questions, please, because I need to shut my brain off. Yep. And so I power it down, little PUBG. I tell Bloom, because Bloom's like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's a video game. He thought it was a band, I think. And I said, it's a battle royale. And so you start talking about wrestling and rock'em sock'em robots and what is it? Muscles?
Muscle Men. They came from Japan.
I do not remember Muscle Men at all.
Yeah, I already lost it. The what it stands for. Those were fun little bizarre things. But the Battle Royale was the best. Cease. Here's the idea. I'm putting it out there for someone. Somebody needs to take. I guess it's like a Survivor League, but put a Battle Royale spin on it. Like a fantasy football Battle Royale. Guillotine League, I think, harnesses some of this idea that who's just going to survive, who's going to be the last one standing, but there needs to be some way for the violence, the double crossing of the Battle Royale, the plots, and you would be watching one story unfold, but there's another one unfolding over there. So maybe there's some way that more than one team can get eliminated in a week or something like that. I don't know. I loved the Battle Royale, and I always love learning about what my good friend Cecil Lammey is enjoying these days.
Well, I told you, I was like, it's like Fortnite, except there's no building. It's actually realistic. And I still don't think that described it for you.
Well, that's the point of reference, there was, yesterday I was watching baseball, and they actually had the Yankees announcer, who's much better when he's not covering the Yankees, and Alex Rodriguez. And the manager of the Twins, Rocco Baldelli, used to play for the Rays, is a big time fish head. And Michael Kay was down, and he was saying, he said the crowd in Minnesota was going to split open and melt. That's a Fish song. And then he started talking about someone he worked with who goes to 10 shows in a row at Madison Square Garden. And then Alex Rodriguez said, Fish, are we talking about what we had for dinner? And Michael Kay said, Chilean sea bass. So that's me with video games, because I turn my brain off with my Topps Bunt app. It's not as fun as it sounds. It doesn't really sound fun.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I never thought I would be this old still playing video games, but
the video games have changed. These are not our video games, our parents didn't have video games.
Right. No, it's not Donkey Kong or Super Mario or whatever.
Combat.
Yeah. God bless America. They're getting more internet. We're working on your internet. All right, I guess I better get out of here before the internet tanks again.
8-bit Cease is coming back, everybody. This is the best part of the show right here, this last couple of minutes, because we're with our people and we feel comfortable. I hope you do too, folks out there.
Yeah. Let your freak flag fly, whether it's PUBG or Fish or Topps. What is it? Topps dominating it?
It's fake baseball cards. It's not even real cards. I'm not even collecting the real cards. But
you don't spend money on them, do you?
No, exactly. Just time. Just my precious breath, my precious life energy. But not money.
That's more important.
Not something important like money.
Your time is more important than money. That's why we appreciate you. See, some segues are better than others, but legit. No cap, as the kids would say, although that's probably dated by now. And I feel stupid when I say that. So, hey, I'm not 17. But no, dude, this is what it's about. It's about having fun, talking football. You can get a cheeseburger anywhere, but tchotchkes, you come for the atmosphere and the attitude. So you can get your fantasy football talk anywhere, but with the Audible, you come here for the atmosphere and the attitude and the pieces of flair. whether those are PUBG. By the way, people asking about your Football Guys hat, Bloom.
Yeah.
We have those for sale on our
Yes.
website. So if you want
All
one,
kinds
you
of
want to
good stuff.
support the show, there's even a Sorry Joe t-shirt. You know, we need to talk about that more. Actually, Joe needs to send us a couple of t-shirts. But like, we have a Sorry Joe t-shirt. And I've seen people wear them, like in
Yeah.
public.
Mhm.
And then I'll go up to you like a raving lunatic and be like, "Sorry, Joe." That happened in downtown Denver by Coors Field. There's your baseball talk, Bloom.
Mhm.
So anyway, come here, hang out with us, take a load off, take your shirt off, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good, baby. That's how we do it. Yeah, let's wrap it up. That is the Audible at footballguys.com. Do the YouTube things, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And he's Sigmund Bloom. You follow him at Sigmund Bloom. The show is at the Audible. I'm at Cecil. I'm seeping into your brain. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying
Salami.
thanks for watching Steve Salami. Stay tuned. And please, would you always stay frosty.